So we're back again, and we're still here. Saint Murad is over there, way off in the Middle East, and I'm here in Eastern United States. So we're thousands of miles apart, but like we're right next door. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go right into these mistakes. This is what we talked about before, that the translators or those who are creating the translations into English of the Quran itself from Arabic are making lots of either lazy mistakes, maybe they're ineptitude, maybe they are purposeful. We're going to find that out. And Murad is here to unpack them for me. Thanks for coming on board, Murad. So look at these, masking these Quranic mistakes that you're coming up with and finding in these translations.
Yeah, this category is kind of different than the stuff we have spoken about before. These are mistakes that are actually in the Arabic Quran. So a translator who has dignity, he should actually translate the mistakes into English. But now we see that these translators, they just corrected into English as if it was not a problem in the Arabic. You see?
So it's a mistake going both ways. Both the Arabic is a mistake and the translation is a mistake. So it's a double whammy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now I can share and show people these masking Quranic errors. Now we will move to masking Quranic mistakes. We know that the Arabic Quran, it has some mistakes, some scribal errors, or some mistakes which has to do with the original Arabic. So if a translator, he has nothing to, if he has no agenda, he should just translate it straight into English with the mistakes. So now we will see masking Quranic mistake number 1. Here it says in the Arabic, وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا. We are looking at the word وَمَا. Now the word وَمَا in Arabic, it means and whatever. So it should be and the sky and whatever has built it. But if we look at the English, they will never translate it this way. They have it as and by the heaven and the one who built it, or and he who constructed it, or and him who built it. When clearly in the Arabic it's saying and whatever has built it. Now this might be a mistake in the Arabic. وَمَا should be وَمَن, but anyhow the Quran translators, they just should have it as and the heaven and whatever has built it. Now, why would they hide this? Because, of course, it will cause theological issues that they want to hide. And at this point, I want to ask you, what do you think of this example?
Okay, let me. I'm just make sure I get explain the theological problem, the theological issue. If it was whatever rather than he who.
Yeah, because now we have an entity that's unknown, that's not logical, that created the sky other than God. It should be Waman, which is the God. You see?
Okay. Okay, I got it. Terrific.
Okay, so now we will move to masking Quranic error number 2. We will just lay the foundation first. The word here is خصيم. In the Arabic it says خلق الإنسان من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. The word خصيم, it is the same as خصم, which means opposition. So here the clear Quran says they openly challenge him. So he created humans from a sperm drop. Then behold, this human is openly challenging God. And here Sahih International says a clear adversary. So they are both right here. They know that Khasim means being in opposition or being an adversary. The translators, they have no problem here. We are just establishing this first. I just want people to know that the translators know that Khasim means being in opposition or an adversary. Now, here again, the same idea is emphasized. same words, not verbatim, but same words, and it says, فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ. The translators clearly know that Khasim is an adversary. It's someone in opposition. It's not a friend. But what about here? إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ لِتَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ بِمَا أَرَاكَ اللَّهُ وَلَا تَكُنْ لِلْخَائِنِينَ خَصِيمًا. Again, the word Khasim here, it should be adversary. But the problem is, this verse is problematic. It is actually saying, do not be an adversary to the betrayers or the ones who betray. So they deceptively translated it as advocate to save the Quran from this error. So all of a sudden, as you can see here, the Clear Quran and Sahih International and all other translations, they have it as advocate here to save the Quran because it's saying do not be in opposition to the ones who betray you. And I will ask you, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, well, there's a theological problem with that one as well. I mean, this is just, it just turns it on its head. It gives the opposite meaning, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And anyone who speaks Arabic, I will ask him, translate this verse literally and tell me what do you think. So definitely Khasim is someone who is a khism, who is an adversary, who is in opposition. It never means advocate. This is 100% deception. Now we will move on to masking Quranic error number 3. This upcoming example is about the word bishara or bushra. This word means good news, and it's usually a Christian term. The good news is Jesus Christ himself. This is according to Christian theology. The Quran sometimes uses this word in the context of torment or torture. This is a test for Quran translators. Will they translate the word as is, or will they start to tap dance? Quran translators actually split into 3 groups. Group 1, keep the word as is, good news, and this is correct. Group 2, lie and turn it into news only without good. Group 3, I call them the play dead group. They act as if the word is never there in the Arabic. So this is group 1, and it says, يسمع آيات الله تتلى عليه ثم يصر مستكبرا كأن لم يسمعها فبشره بعذاب أليم. So give him good news of a painful torment. So here, the Clear Quran, it has it right. Arbery has it right. Taqi Osmani, he has it right, but he has these two, what do you call these two things that show that it's in a sarcastic manner. So he adds a little bit of flavor there. But again, at least he has it as good news. Now we move to group 2, and they have it as give him tidings or bring him news without the word good. This is, of course, a lie, a deception, because it's saying give him good news of a painful torment. When we move to the group 3, I call them the play dead group because they act as if the Arabic word, it's not give good news. They say announce, and probably they copied from one another. They copied from Abdullah Yusuf Ali. He says here, then announce to him, announce, Shakir and Hilali and Khan. All of this just to run from the fact that the Quran is saying, give him good news of a painful torment. And now I ask you, what do you think of this example?
Well, it's obviously they're trying to hide that, and that's why they're not even respecting. And then this is poor translation. This is poor in the context that if you're going to be a translator, write it as is, and you can put it in a footnote saying, or this, or it could be announced, but you don't put that in the translation itself.
Yeah, exactly. And now we will move to masking Quranic error number 4. And we don't need to look at this whole verse. I just want to look at this one. And it says, أو التابعين غير أولي الإربة من الرجال أو الطفل الذين. In Arabic, this word is one child, and then the rest of the the sentence is in plural. So this should be children, but the Arabic has it as child. Now, what will happen is that every single translation has it correct as children. It is sad to say that almost all Quran translators masked this error and had it as children when clearly says child. My challenge actually is ask any Arabic speaker, anyone, especially people who are very angry in the comments, tell him is طفل singular or plural? And is this sentence correct in Arabic? Because it says الرجال أو الطفل الذين. It should be either الطفل الذي or الأطفال الذين. But in every single translation, they just have it as children who are, and they assume, and of course, I mean, they obscure the fact that in the Arabic, this is a grammatical mistake. Now I will ask you, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, you can see that even in English, that would be a grammatical mistake. So it's obviously, if you're going to keep it child, that would be grammatically incorrect. It's got to ally with the context of the sentence itself. So they've just put it children. They made it plural, so that not even understanding that you can't do that with the Arabic. It is singular there.
Yeah, so these are the masking Quranic errors category, and I will get back to you now.
Yeah, so here's four examples of mistakes that you have come up with, and these are ones that we need to ask why would they do this? What's the purpose? If it is a mistake and it's there in the Arabic a mistake, then for heaven's sakes, and you can even put it in a footnote. That's how we do it if there's ever a grammatical mistake in the Bible, or if it's in Hebrew or in Greek. That's what you would do. And you're being true to the text. But you're saying, in this case, the copyist got it wrong, or in this case, the person who was maybe the original one, we don't have the original text. I don't see that happening in the Bible because the Bible doesn't make these kind of grammatical mistakes that I'm aware of. And that's why it's fascinating that you've already found four of these mistakes right here in the Quran itself. As good translators, they should be true to their craft. As good translators, they should also be transparent. And this is what we ask. If they're not going to be true, if they're not going to be transparent, how can we trust them as translators? Well, obviously, in this case, in all four of these cases, they have dropped the ball. And that just makes it more difficult for the rest of us who don't have the Arabic know-how or the ability to even know if what we're reading beyond that is what the text is actually saying. So thanks so much, Murad. You've done us a great job by coming here and pointing these out. Now, some people say, well, they're not that big a thing. Well, if they're not that big a thing, then why did they go ahead and do it? And what the thing, and this is why we have in all of our biblical texts, whenever there is a possibility of translating something one way or another way, or if there is a question as to what this word means, because we don't have what we call a dynamic equivalent, that's a linguistic term, something that's in this language that's not found in the other language. A case in point, I guess, is many languages around from the equator part don't have a word for snow because it never snows there. And so when you have reference to something as white as snow in the biblical text, they have to put they have to put an equivalent, which would not be snow, but something that is similar to that. In this case, that could be what's going on here. But in every case, when that is done in a biblical context, you write the word that is there, and then you put a little number and you go down to the footnote and you explain why the translator used that word. Or if this was a guess or if it was a mistake, you say so. You admit it. They don't want to do it here because if this is a book that comes from God, how can there be any grammatical mistakes? God does not make grammatical mistakes. Thank God. We know that the Bible is written by men. Therefore, men are open and are prone to that, but not Allah. Allah cannot do that. So, in every respect, what they have done, they just manipulated the translation to ameliorate that problem.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, also they don't want to uh, transcribe these mistakes into English because people will say they are not good of a translator. Some people told me, Murad, you are making some mistakes in your translation. I tell them, no, sir, it is there in the Arabic, exactly like that. That's
Mm.
why people, when they read it in the Arabic, they are struggling and they are suffering because it is full of these mistakes.
It comes off as clumsy, it comes off as inept, and it also comes off as not godlike. So you can see these are a problem. Now, we're going to go to something that are more damaging, are they not? We're now going to go into deception, where they've actually deceived the reader. That's the next part. Murad, thanks so much for being with us. This is exciting. Folks, don't leave. There's lots more yet to come.